Welcome back. Today, we continue exploring craft beer across Greater Boston. For clarity, we divide the region into three parts: Cambridge, Boston proper, and South Boston. Three areas, three characters, one city shaped by beer and place. We begin in Cambridge. The streets feel quieter, more deliberate. Old brick, libraries, lecture halls, places where time moves slowly but thinking runs deep. Home to Harvard and MIT, Cambridge has long been defined by research, debate, and experimentation, not just in science but in culture and craft. A small cluster of breweries, Winter Hill, Portico, and Lamplighter, reflect the city's precise, thoughtful approach to craft beer. Winter Hill feels designed for regulars, not crowds. The space is small, almost understated. A compact tap room with a strong neighborhood feel. There's no sense of scale or spectacle here, and that seems intentional. Their Reckless West Coast IPA stands out immediately. It leans into a more traditional West Coast profile. Firm bitterness, clean malt structure, and a restrained hop character that avoids excess. It's confident, well-balanced, and refreshingly direct. Alongside it, their Martzen keeps things classic and approachable. Crisp, dry, and easy drinking, it reinforces the brewery's preference for clarity over trend chasing. Nothing flashy, just solid execution. Winter Hill isn't trying to redefine craft beer in Cambridge or compete on hype. Instead, it delivers consistency, focus, and a clear understanding of what it wants to be. Overall, Winter Hill Brewing Company earns a confident A tier. Portico Brewing makes a strong first impression. The space is large, modern, and carefully designed. Clean lines, plenty of natural light. It feels more like a contemporary urban venue than a traditional neighborhood brewery. From a purely architectural standpoint, everything is in place. Unfortunately, the beer doesn't keep up. Across the lineup, the execution feels unfocused. Flavors lack clarity, structure is loose, and several pours come across as unfinished rather than intentional. There isn't a single beer that clearly anchors the tap list or gives the brewery a strong sense of identity. Portico Brewing lands in C tier, a well-designed space with plenty of potential, but beers that currently fall short of the standard set by the surrounding scene. Lamplighter Brewing feels intentional from the moment you walk in. The space leans toward a clean, minimalist aesthetic. Bright, airy, and unmistakably urban. There's a cafe integrated into the brewery, which sets the tone immediately. This is a place designed as much for lingering as it is for drinking. The atmosphere borders on refined, even a little self-aware, a distinctly Cambridge kind of polish, but it never overwhelms the experience. The focus ultimately returns to what's in the glass. Lamplighter's strength is clearly in its IPAs. The Rabbit Rabbit and Birds of a Feather series stand out as reliable benchmarks. Expressive hop character, balanced bitterness, and clean execution without unnecessary excess. These are beers that know exactly what they want to be, and they deliver consistently. Taken as a whole, Lamplighter strikes a rare balance between aesthetics and substance. It's polished without being hollow, stylish without losing technical credibility. A tier. Boston's core is compact and walkable, with historic streets, modern city life, and a small, selective set of breweries worth stopping by. Just outside North Station, with TD Garden at its back and the Zakim Bridge cutting across the skyline, Night Shift Brewing sits in one of Boston's most visible transit corridors. It's the kind of location people pass through every day, before a game, after work, or on the way along the river. Inside, the space is immediately impressive. The taproom is large, open, and carefully designed, with a modern bar, clean lines, and a level of polish that stands out in the city. The beer lineup is broad and approachable, covering familiar styles without pushing strongly in any one direction. Everything is drinkable and well executed, but no single beer clearly defines the tap list or anchors the brewery's identity. It's a lineup that supports the space rather than competes with it. Food leans towards square-cut pizza in a Detroit-style format, hearty, filling, and serviceable. Overall, Night Shift at Lovejoy Wharf feels less like a destination brewery and more like a well-designed urban stop. Easy to visit, easy to enjoy, and easy to move on from. Ultimately a B-tier experience. Just beyond downtown, the North End comes into view. Brick buildings, narrow streets, and layers of Boston history that still shape daily life. It's a part of the city where the past isn't curated, just carried forward. That history converges at Faneuil Hall, where the Samuel Adams statue stands as a quiet marker of Boston's brewing legacy. From here, the path naturally leads to Samuel Adams' modern taproom. Samuel Adams needs little introduction. This is one of the most recognizable beer brands in the U.S. The downtown Boston taproom reflects that reputation, offering a broad, well-balanced lineup that stays true to the brand's classic style. It's a lively, high-traffic space with a steady downtown crowd, especially during evenings and weekends. The beers are consistently solid, landing in the mid to upper range in quality, with a few taproom exclusives adding some variety. Lagers stand out as a strong point here, staying clean, balanced, and true to the Samuel Adams house style. Beyond that, the tap list offers plenty of choices across styles, making it easy to find something that fits, even if nothing is meant to reinvent the wheel. Overall, this taproom isn't about surprises, but about reliability. A confident A-tier stop that delivers exactly what it promises. Located near City Hall, Democracy Brewing's taproom looks directly toward the Samuel Adams taproom across the square. It blends seamlessly into the surrounding streetscape, functioning as a true downtown gathering point rather than a standalone destination. Its central location sits firmly in downtown Boston, making it an easy walk-in stop rather than a destination brewery. The beer selection is straightforward and drinkable, the food menu is serviceable, and the space feels relaxed and practical. Overall, it lands comfortably in B tier, a solid, dependable stop that fits well into a city beer route. South Boston is where places like Harpoon and Trillium come into focus, trading tight city blocks for wide views, big rooms, and beer halls designed for lingering rather than quick stops. Crossing a few bridges south of downtown, the city starts to open up into South Boston. More water, more space, and a slower pace than the historic core. Along the way, landmarks like the Boston Tea Party Museum quietly mark the city's revolutionary past before the scene shifts toward the waterfront and working harbor. In 2025, Trillium remains one of the most crowded and recognizable stops in South Boston. However, the beers that once defined Trillium, particularly its sour program, have clearly fallen off. The former Connecticut farm-to-table approach is gone, and the wings are largely forgettable. Faded Farmer redefined what sour beer could be, marked by an intense, unapologetically funky profile that left a lasting impression, one that helped cement Trillium's reputation during its peak years. That edge has softened over time, and the current sour offerings feel far less distinctive. The farm-to-table approach that once shaped the kitchen in earlier years produced well-executed plates built around fresh ingredients and confident technique. The cooking was consistent and thoughtful, with a clear sense of intention. Today, that identity has faded. The menu feels more simplified and restrained, no longer carrying the regional character that once set it apart. In its earlier years, Trillium was an easy S-tier brewery, setting benchmarks that few could match. In 2025, while it remains a busy and recognizable stop, the experience has settled into a more restrained B-tier range. A short walk south past Boston Fish Pier brings you directly to Harpoon, marking the transition from Trillium's polished taproom scene to South Boston's classic large-scale brewery halls. Harpoon is one of those names that still carries real weight in Boston. The branding is unmistakable, the scale is large, and the operation feels confident and well-established the moment you arrive. This is a true production brewery with a public-facing beer hall, not a boutique taproom trying to chase trends. The beer reflects that same mindset. Harpoon IPA remains clean, crisp, and reliably balanced, with no unnecessary haze or gimmicks. It may not be flashy, but the consistency is exactly the point. Year after year, it delivers the same dependable profile, which is increasingly rare in a market driven by constant experimentation. That steadiness is what earns Harpoon its place. It is not about innovation or hype, but about execution and reliability at scale. In a region full of highs and lows, Harpoon stays firmly on solid ground, and that long-term consistency keeps it squarely in S tier. This is the final ranking of all 8 Cambridge and Boston breweries, with only one earning S tier status. Harpoon IPA stands out for its long-term consistency, clean profile, and balanced bitterness that remains widely approachable. As a flagship beer from a brand brewing since 1986, its strength is reliability done right. Boston represents the core of Massachusetts, where history, science, and culture intersect. The region is defined by continuity and change, valuing tradition, diversity, and steady progress. This is the spirit of Massachusetts. Thanks for watching. Next, we head north to Vermont, one of America's true craft beer heartlands.